Nick.
I believe you.
Nick.
Yes.
You're the next topic. But first, I need to tell you that this episode is brought to you by Loot Crate. Loot Crate is a monthly subscription box service for epic geek and gamer items and pop culture gear. For less than $20 a month, you get 4 to 8 items. We'll wait for Colin to come back. The ad doesn't count if you're not here.
Really?
No, I'm kidding around. You get 4 to 8 items that include licensed gear, apparel, collectible, unique one-of-a-kind items, and more. Make sure you head to lootcrate.com/kindafunny and enter the code kindafunny to save $3 on any new subscription. Loot Crate is more than just a subscription service. It's an entire community of fans that share their experience and interact with each other around the unboxing of each month's crate. And they guarantee more than $40 in value in every crate. Sometimes it's a lot more. Every month there's a different theme, and all the items are curated around that theme. Previous crates have included items from franchises like Star Wars, Marvel, The Walking Dead, The Legend of Zelda, and many more. Join us as we celebrate the futuristic. We've packed July's crate with items from some of pop culture's favorite prognostications of science and the future. Nailed that time. Yeah. Look towards tomorrow with items from Rick and Morty, Futurama, Star Trek, Mega Man, Valiant Comics, and Star Trek, including they already said Star Trek.
Say it again. Star Trek's worth it. Say it twice.
There's two double the Star Trek, including a model, a figure, and don't forget our monthly teen pin. Remember, you only have until the 19th at 9 p.m. Pacific to subscribe and receive that month's crate. And when the cutoff happens, Jack, that's it. It's over. So go to lootcrate.com/kindafunny and enter the offer code kindafunny to save $3 on your new subscription today.
It's a good read there.
Thank you, bud.
Nailed it.
Thank you.
Crushed it.
What's your topic?
My topic, I want to talk about the weirdest hotel rooms you've stayed at, or the weirdest hotel experiences in general. Okay. And this came up because Chris Ostertag, Video Grandpa on Twitter, tweeted me a picture of a hotel that we stayed at one time that I totally had blocked from my memory because it was arguably the worst experience of my life. It was in Amsterdam. We went out there for a gig that we were both doing as a freelancer for my friend Brennan. They flew us out and put us up. It was a cool gig, but all of the hotels in Amsterdam, because Amsterdam's such an old city, were either like new or had been converted something or other, right? So the hotel we stayed at was it was like a juvenile youth insane asylum.
Awesome.
Something that like where you went, it was basically a place where they held like youths that were problemed or had mental handicaps or had some sort of thing going on where they needed to be basically institutionalized. That went south, and apparently they decided to make that into a hotel.
Gotta love Amsterdam.
The rooms were the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life, and I'll show you right now. We should show the audience as well as soon as Kevin gets back, but I'll pull it up on Twitter for you guys right now. They were all different, but this was the one that
15.
Chris actually stayed in this room. And I'll describe this to you before I show you a picture. You open the door, and it opens up into, it's one long room, just one room.
You got
That's
it. Okay.
You open the door.
Yeah.
And it immediately opens up into the bathroom. And by bathroom, I mean,
you open the front door and you're in the bathroom?
You walk into tile.
Like a shower tile?
You walk into shower tile.
Okay.
There is a sink and a spigot in the ceiling.
A spigot in the ceiling?
Yeah. And then you keep walking about another 5-10 feet and you're at the bed. So when you shower, you just turn the thing on and hope to God the water doesn't go everywhere because that's Europe, apparently. Let me pull this up real quick so you guys can see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, can you give me real water? I'm thirsty. Also, we put notes in your book, Kevin, about you have to insert a photo. We did it perfect, don't worry.
That's the view from the front door.
Wait, this is the view from the front door?
Right, so this...
What's the door off to the right?
I saw this on Twitter yesterday. It's funny, man.
What's that door there? The shitter?
Oh, that might be the shitter, actually, yeah. But that sink, and you see that's the actual shower. You're walking basically into a shower.
I don't like that at all.
That TV is awesome. Zoom in on that TV.
That nice CRT there?
God damn. It's like
looks like a solid,
CRT.
solid 21 inches right there.
So this was my... So then you go up to my room, and it's like a totally different layout, slightly better. But it was like incredibly hot. There was no air conditioning, and people were partying in this place all night. It was arguably the worst hotel I've ever stayed at in my entire life. It was weird. And that was in the basement, by the way. So like those windows like look up into like foot traffic and people that are basically partying, because in Europe, especially in Amsterdam,
you don't stop partying.
They just have like the outdoor beer gardens and things like that. You can sit out there. It's really pretty. It's actually really pretty looking over the river. But yeah, that was a strange one for me. That was when he reminded me of that time when I tried to block from my memory, because other than that, the job and Amsterdam were amazing. highly recommend visiting them. Just don't stay in the insane asylum that I had to stay at, where no doubt countless people have died.
No.
Countless people have died.
I can't see you handling that well at all.
I did not handle it
like
well.
not even a little.
Not
bit.
even a little.
Because you in hotels, I mean, good lord.
You're very particular.
If we think that you in food is particular, you in hotels is a whole other thing. God bless you for it.
I'm very particular.
At
totally
RTX,
get
you
it.
just changed your hotel. You were too close to the elevator.
I did, and it bit me. It bit
Too
me in
close
ass.
to the elevator.
And then that one was haunted too, right above you. Somebody was moving things all night long.
Did you hear what I was talking about?
No,
my God.
I was the room next to you.
Yeah, you were.
I didn't hear a goddamn thing.
All carpeted hotel, and it sounded all night long like someone was moving a chair across hardwood. Just that sound of like.
Yeah.
So I fucked myself because I got to the room on the top floor, by the way, and I'm like, this is a top floor room. You should shut up and just take this room because no one's above you. So at least that eliminates one of the areas of sound that could potentially happen to you. But I was too close to the elevator. Now, the problem with being too close to the elevator, Colin will feel me on this. I'm a light sleeper. If anyone's outside my room talking, which inevitably happens at least once at these conferences because there's 500 people staying in every room, I'm going to hear that. So to eliminate that possibility, I stay away from the elevator because what's the first thing you do when you and your friends arrive at the elevator? You start talking to each other. You make small talk. Why is this elevator taking so long? This elevator's taking forever. How hilarious is this? How bad this elevator is being to us right now, right? I'm going to hear that. I'm going to stay up all night. And the other note is just in general, I know to expect this during conferences because when you're staying 30 feet from the exhibition center, it's going to be 10 to a room no matter what. Like all night long, the first night, I heard air mattresses being blown up and people playing something, I don't know, it's like Guitar Hero or something
Overwatch
like that.
is what's cool these days.
They were playing
Overwatch, there you
Overwatch,
go.
I bet.
And yelling and screaming and having a good time, as one does when they go to a convention called Rooster Teeth Expo, right?
Naturally.
So that's my bad. Is next year I'll probably try to stay a little bit farther away from it. Like the year prior to that, we stayed at the W. Nice, same hotel, same accommodations, good, but it was just a little farther off, so people weren't doubling up 10 to a room over there. Maybe a little bit more expensive.
Well, even this year, you got to chime in on this one, Kev?
Yeah, I was jokingly telling you that you should switch with Tim when you were switching rooms.
Mm-hmm.
But our room was really cool because do you remember it had that little like extra doorway?
So there's a doorway that would lead to our two rooms. So pretty much like, and that had an extra key that only our two keys could get into. So we could have kind of made both of our rooms into a party room.
Oh, cool.
Different than the adjoining rooms.
Were you in the corner?
Although that also joined. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
totally
they told
in
me
the
to stay
corner.
away from the corner because that's where they really crowd into, apparently. The woman at the
Well,
front
it was
desk was
us
like,
crowding
well, that was the
It was
woman-
just us.
She, at the front desk, she was like, dude, you don't want to stay near a corner then because during these times, they
I
crowd
can
into
imagine
the room.
because there's an extra room.
Yeah, but to which I replied, I'm like,
What's in
you
the other
know
room?
this.
So the extra room is just space. It's just hallway, but it's like an extended hallway, but it's like
Hotbox it.
My thing that was annoying
honestly, like if you were trying to get fucked, you could gather your little group of RTX goers and do some E or something.
Whoa,
Yeah.
a raven there.
But it was so small. It was like the space between you guys' room.
But
like
these
that
kids,
little doorway.
Kevin, they know how to-
I hear about community members like when they come to like KFL and stuff like that. They do, anytime you see these guys, any of our best friends out there at these conventions, they do that. I understand. They get. Well, I think the last one was.
I think he means they pack into a room. I don't think he means they all do eat.
Maybe they do it too. I don't know. If you're out there doing it, just make sure to hydrate.
Zyger's
don't
just
do it.
like that, Nick. That's not drugs. That's just Zyger.
I totally understand why people do it. I totally understand that it's cost effective. I don't understand why the hotel allows this to happen, especially since it sounds like they just know what's happening and they just choose not to police it.
Well, what are you gonna do? I mean, that's the type
Kick
of
them out of the
thing-
hotel because it's usually only like 4 max, like max occupancy.
Yeah,
it's a fire hazard, Tim.
I mean,
don't
I
know
was
that
going
on
up and down the halls, like to get to the elevator and stuff. And almost every single time there was some security guard or like administrative hotel person with walkie-talkies being like, "Oh, I'm at 10:52,"
Yeah.
and like, no, it's 10:42. It's like walking back and forth. Like there are people policing this.
Well, I
shit.
mean, because there's
of
asshole old
people
guys like me.
you,
I
yeah.
thought about calling and I was like, no, you just got to deal with it because
You
It
suck
is
it
what
up.
it is.
you suck it up. You're
Yeah, no,
here.
it's-
This is what you're doing.
I get it, man. I mean, hotels can be loud, but that never bothers me because like
Well, you guys are deep sleepers.
shit just happens.
See.
I'm not a deep sleeper. I just that shit just doesn't bother me that much. So I just kind of deal with it. It's like there's noise happening. I'm either sleeping or not. But what bothers me is when the hotels themselves give misinformation about what their room actually is. Like one time we went to PAX East for Boston. This is back when we were with IGN, and me and you get into what our room is supposed to be, and there was one twin bed. And there wasn't even enough room on the floor for me to sleep.
And we
if I
almost did
wanted
it.
to.
We
And then
laid down in the bed and we were like, nah, this won't
no,
work.
we can't do it. And it was just like, it blew my mind that qualifies as a 2-person room. Like that was a 2-person room. Granted, they expected it to be a couple, But I mean,
Right.
and me and Greg, again, not against it.
We were, if it would have been a queen, we were in. It's
But
done.
it physically just didn't work. And in that same room, you go in the bathroom, and it was just like, how is someone like, you can't sit and close the door.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I'm taking a dump, I cannot physically close the door.
Yeah, you don't need to.
That is just upsetting. The
Your
only way
lover
to
will
do it,
understand.
Yeah,
you have to stand,
let
walk
your beauty
like,
out.
behind the toilet, like close it, and then sit. Nah, fucking real America. You're out of here. You go to these like other places, there's space for days. That you could fit 10,000 people on the floor, which is why they
We don't
do
want
it.
you in real America. That's the thing. We don't want anyone else in real America. So we make our hotel rooms as
This is
uncomfortable
just
as possible.
this is just a hotel room for somebody where they're coming out here for a funeral. Somebody's getting married. They ain't staying.
No,
there.
that's
Okay.
been my thing. I've had horrible experiences in Boston and New York when it comes to hotels.
Oh, New York and
Yeah.
New York hotels and
New York hotels are just like, hey, here's a
York
closet.
I love New York
bad,
hotels.
bad.
It's
Well, it's
fun.
because they're all converted from like really old buildings, so the rooms are tiny, the plumbing's terrible, and again for me, you can just hear everything. Like there was one back when we stayed in Boston the first time. The hotel was actually nice, but the walls were so thin, and I was again near the elevator that you heard the pinging of the
Every single
time I hit a floor. It was hell loud, and I was like, this isn't even physically possible because it's the same level of fucking loudness every floor. You think it would get quieter as it went down, but it doesn't. It was just bing, 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 bing.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
I'm sure you loved that.
Oh, I fucking hated it. I hated it.
Yeah, New York. I had a weird during the PS4 reveal in Manhattan. Sony put us up in in like what is the most hipsterish fucking hotel. I can't remember the name of it. It was so hipsterish. There was an acoustic guitar in my room. I was like, this is fucking outrageous. This place. Yeah, I was like, this is. And then I would talk to the people like, yeah, I had like a keyboard and I had like a fucking xylophone. I'm like, what is going on in this place? I don't like staying. When I go to New York, I stay with my friends. It's like I can't stay in fucking New York City hotels. But the worst hotel experience I ever had was in Virginia with Ramon and Kate, his girlfriend. Our friend Kevin, who we did the NHL 94 tournament with, was getting married in an Indian wedding in Virginia, which is 2 days. So we had to stay in a hotel and for one night, and then we stayed with my mom another night down there. She lives in Richmond. And the hotel we stayed at was like some fucking garbage Clarion or something like that. It was attached to a Hooters.
No, that's a bonus right there.
I was like, all right, like we just have to stay here one night. Like, let's just do it. And we we got the room or whatever, and then walked in immediately, and there was like cockroaches in the room and shit like that. And this was the time when I was positive, just because I stayed in a hotel, I had bed bugs. No, I didn't. I don't think. And I was like, it's just too risky. Like this place was so sketchy that I like came in, dropped my stuff in the middle of the kitchen because it wasn't carpeted, and then immediately took soap and whatever, and went immediately to the laundromat, dropped the entire bag, like everything I had with me, everything I had on, like all of it in the washing machine. I was like, I can't risk it.
It was in you had it in a garbage bag, right?
Yeah, I dropped it all in the garbage bag. Like literally took my pants off in the kitchen, like my shirt and everything, and like.
And I just sat there and washed.
And I was like, just in case,
I've seen that shirtless.
because you don't want to fuck around with that. But the funny thing was that we went into that room, and then they moved us into another room, which was even worse. And then I went to the counter. And there was this baseball team, like this men's league baseball team with their wives and stuff, like checking in at the hotel. And I waited in line, and they're making small talk with me, and I was like, they're like, oh, so what's going on? I'm like, oh, our hotel room's terrible. Like, and she's like, oh, what's wrong? I'm like, there are cockroaches, and like I don't know what the fuck's going on in this place, you know? And they were all like concerned. And then I talked to the person at the desk, and I'm like, I need you to like, give me all my money back now. And they like didn't really give me a problem. They were like, fine. Like the woman was like, all right, fine, and like gave me all my money back. And then 2 weeks later, I got a letter from the manager of the hotel apologizing to me for it, whatever. And they're like, oh, well, we're sorry. And I'm like, yeah, I'll be back real quick.
Yeah.
And
That makes up for everything. I'm coming right back.
The funny thing is that we could not find a hotel in the Richmond area, like at all. And we ended up finding a smoking room in like some Holiday Inn or something like that.
God, those are the worst.
And there's still pictures of it. I got to show you and videos on like my iPad and stuff, like just fucking with Ramon. Like there was outlets in like weird places. You know how they have like air conditioning outlets, like like on top. Like I remember just like we couldn't find outlets. We were hanging we were charging our phones, and they were just hanging from the outlet and stuff like that. So it was kind of memorable, and it was also a little scary because I was like, I don't want to be in these. Like it's worth spending the extra money to just get a good hotel room.
Yeah,
but of course,
I agree.
at that time I had less money and also just bad planning, and I could have just gone and stayed with my mom. It wouldn't have been a big deal. So I was just kind of being annoying in that respect. Also, overseas hotels, interesting. Had good hotel experiences in Europe, in Japan. I've stayed in the smallest hotels that were literally half the size of this room.
Yeah,
like,
Japan hotels are the weird ones.
No joke. And they're nice hotels. Yeah. That was the funny thing. Like these are like beautiful hotels at Shibuya. Like
I mean, the best hotel room I've probably ever stayed at. The best was the Park Hyatt in Shinjuku. Because that's the one where they shot Lost in Translation at.
Yeah.
It was like You want to talk about quiet, man? It was like 30 stories up. There was a thick fog layer around me at all times that was dampening the sound from the street below. Fan-fucking-tastic. I go back there in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I mean, the ones that I think of being bad ones were, when I was in college or fresh out of college. And I remember, like, I think I've told on this show before or whatever. We didn't get to stay in the hotel, but we went down for the Independence Bowl in Shreveport, Louisiana. And we drove, we got in the car at whatever, like, obscene amount, like 1 a.m. and drove through, back road Missouri all the way down to get there.
Right.
Got there. We're like, it was already time to tailgate for this game. We're like, we'll check into the hotel afterwards. We tailgated, got drunk as shit, watched the game. We're all hungover, get in the car, get to the Holiday Inn or wherever it was. And we're like, hey, we're here to check in. They're like, we don't have any rooms. They're like, no, we made a reservation. Like, no, we overbooked the rooms. We overbooked the entire hotel. There's no room for you here. And we're like, well, we're just dumb college kids. We're like, well, what do we do? Where do we go? And they're like,
Anyone could take a reservation.
Yeah. I don't know if you know how reservations work.
Oh my God. That was
Yeah.
dude, that was again another reason why I don't think it was this flight with the version. What was the last one we did?
United.
And where was that shoot?
Oh, fuck
It was
United.
VidCon, right? We were
Yeah.
flying out of VidCon.
Fuck
United.
United,
Oh,
again,
God.
I was reminded of like how absurd that is. The very first thing they say is, this flight's actually oversold, so we're going to need some volunteers. I'm like, how do you fucking do that? How do
Because
you
they
do
don't
that?
think everybody's going to show up.
Well, there's always one person who's like, I guess I don't really have any reason.
Exactly.
I'll get a free
I'll take the
flight.
$300
I did
voucher.
it once.
I've done it twice.
done it, yeah.
Well, it's for an IGN trip to Comic-Con. I'm like, I don't have an appointment until later, and I just got money.
Yeah, it's
Fuck
good.
yeah.
I did,
But no,
I
we
did
got-
it 3 times. I tried to do it, like, I shit you not, twice in a row on the same flight. They booked me once. It was coming back, and they were like, we got to bump someone. And I was like, I got nothing to do at home. It's a Sunday. I got tomorrow off because we worked all weekend. I was like, I'll take the later flight. And then the later flight came, and they fucking overbooked that. And I was like, I'll take another one. And the woman's like, we've never encountered this situation before. I don't know if we're allowed to do this. Called her manager, was like, I guess we are. Here you go.
That's awesome.
2 free flights.
No, when we were dumb college kids, we didn't know what to do, so we drove around to like 3 other hotels, and finally the last hotel was like, you're done. There's not going to be a hotel during a bowl game, Missouri versus Arkansas. You just got to go. You got to hit the road.
You gotta go.
And we're like, we got to leave the city. Like, yeah, you might as well start trying to drive home. So we kept driving home, and it was New Year's Eve. So like, it was like we lost the game. It was New Year's Eve, and we're all hungover. And we're piled in Walter Oakley's car driving back on highways, and it's jammed.
Who's
It's bumper.
driving at this point?
Walter is.
Is he drunk?
No, he's hungover as shit. And he's
So,
really
okay.
angry. And
That
he's
sucks.
tired. He hasn't
Yeah.
slept. It's like, well, I don't even know when. And it's bumper to bumper. We're going, and then when it finally gets going, there'd be that moment of like, I'll never forget. There's a hotel. And we looked at it, and it was burned out. Like, damn it! And we drive, and you'd get off like an hour outside of the city. Like, there's no hotel. Keep doing. Finally, we found one. It was the first time we ever ate Whataburger. Because we pulled off, and we'd celebrated New Year's in the car. And we pulled off at like 1:30, and there was this one. We checked in there, we were fine. But the best was there was a moment when there was just complete silence, and we were driving, and we were bumper to bumper. And Walter just goes, "God damn it!" There's punching the wheel out of nowhere. And we're like, and then went back. The other one was I was talking about. Have you ever heard my story about the most Missouri wedding I ever went to?
No.
You haven't heard this one?
I don't think I have.
Oh man! So a friend from college was getting married to a girl who was from like the boonies of Missouri, like one of the towns. Like when I always talk about Columbia, and I'm like, it's like Austin without international airport, right? So it's not as big, but that's the idea. Liberal college town. And then when you get out of that, it's like, oh, here's the Missouri you think about, and then this is the Missouri you're scared of. You know what I mean? And we booked a hotel room, and we booked a hotel for this wedding. We went down there. We all piled into this room again, of course, for this thing. And I'll never forget. We pulled in. It was the first time I had ever pulled into one of those like motels where it was like we pulled into a gravel lot, and then the doors just opened. Like the doors just opened out to the the fresh air or whatever. And we got there, and they only had a smoking room left. And my buddy Coppice opened the door and threw it open. And he was the first, and he just goes, "Ay, caramba." And I was like, whoa, it's just like, it hits you in the
hit
face.
by
Like,
it,
oh,
man.
Jesus Christ, what is
Just
this?
30 years
30
of
years
cigarette
of smoke.
smokers. Oh, that's the worst.
So it smelled terrible. The story of the most Missouri wedding, it builds like this, where we go to the wedding, it's super nice or whatever. I don't remember anything about the ceremony. Then the party though, the reception was like in the VFW hall, again, a gravel parking lot. We go in there, and it's the mashup of the Antlers, us bunch of fucking idiots who just party and are goddamn morons, and then her family is like the Southern Missouri, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like God and all this other stuff and country and yada yada yada, right? Like they have morals. And so we'd sneak out into the parking lot and drink paint can, as we've talked, the Everclear concoction that somebody made. Somebody tweeted me photos of that they were making paint can. Good job.
I don't drink anything called paint can.
But as you start drinking paint can, you get loose and you have a good time. And we went back
paint can
in there.
Is moonshine? Is that like the equivalent to like a moonshine?
No, I'll make it for you one day.
No.
We went back for the next 24-hour live stream. I'll make a paint can. We can all have some fun with it.
Fuck that.
We went back in and everybody's on the dance floor and da-da-da-da. And then one of our antler friends got it in his head, and I'm removing as many names as I can from this, got it in his head that he needed to moon one of our other antler friends on the dance floor. And so, because I think he had just gotten the antler A tattooed on his ass. And he did it. But in the paint can infused state and just drinking in general, it turned out there was like a 3-year-old flower girl, like right there, like more eye level with the brown eye. And she was horrified. And then her father was horrified. And they started screaming at each other and they were going to fight on the dance floor. And the DJ came over and he's like, if you're going to fight, go outside. And the entire reception went outside and got into a circle to watch these two fucking fight. And so they started pacing around. And literally just as it was about to pop off, and if I'm lying, I'm dying, the DJ had come out unbeknownst to us, gone to his pickup truck, picked up a piece of pipe, and came out of nowhere and slammed the pipe on the gravel so it went everywhere. He's like, get them fucking wet! And he's like threatening them with this pipe. And it diffused the situation and everybody went back to drinking in the parking lot or partying inside.
So, the moral of the story, the DJ did his job.
He did.
Wow.
He kept everything going.
That's awesome.
Nobody got killed. It was,
Oh my
That
a
is-
big surprise.
That is. I don't have any wedding stories like that.
No,
that was a good one.
That was yeah. And then another not bad wedding or a bad hotel story, but one where I was. I've told the story before when I almost died moving out here or whatever, stuck in the Nebraska snowstorm. Eventually went back to a hotel that was like 15 minutes behind on the highway, and when I got there, I'm exhausted, I'm emotionally drained, I'm beaten or whatever. But I'm safe at least, and I'm in a real hotel, and I ordered horrible Pizza Hut pizza from the one Pizza Hut out in the parking lot. And I was like, I gotta charge my phone. And I grabbed the dresser and pulled it out, and there were just fucking 35 condoms, not used, in the package back there. Because clearly somebody had put them out because they were gonna get fucking buck wild. And then they just fell there, and then it's just like that. They don't clean this well. No. Like, what else is happening in this room? Like, I don't think about it. Just go to bed.
Could have been spiders.
It could have been. Yeah.
I thought it was going to
yeah.
be spiders.
I can't handle.
Could have been used condoms.
Exactly. No, there's
which
a
would have
lot.
been way better
And
than
that's why I
spiders.
said it wasn't a real bad one. It was just like one of those things of like I'd already had my last straw for that.
I
that
accept that most, because we stay usually at nice hotels. I accept that shit has gone down in that hotel room. I mean, we've all contributed to it.
I know what I've done.
So it's not
in
like
hotels.
so it's like that's just the nature of the beast.
spraying that stuff everywhere.
It's because you can. Fuck it.
I had a really actually interesting and good experience at one of those motels like you're talking about, right? Where you just kind of open out, like
Sure.
the very Southern California like road motels. We went. It was me and Anthony Cava. We're doing a short for this competition that was a while back, and it was down in Central California. I think it was Kernville or one of those places. And we booked this basically almost this entire hotel for the crew because there was only like maybe 12 rooms here. We took up like 6 or 8 of them, double up 2 or 3 at a room, and I was like, this is gonna be terrible, but it ended up being very interesting because the hotel was very nondescript. We had a great shoot, got like it was one of those classic shoots where we're like, we got one more shot, and literally the sun was going down below the mountain, and when it peaked below, like that was it, our light was gone, so we were like mobilizing, go. This is like 16 hours of shooting for this like 2-minute short that we were working on. Finally got the last shot. We're like, oh my God, that was amazing. Let's all go back. And we go back to this hotel, and it's nighttime at this point, like the sun had dipped. Granted, we remember that we forgot one shot, which was very key to the edit, but we were able to edit around it. And we get back to this hotel, and I forget the name of it, but it had this big, amazingly beautiful neon sign, like this vibrant sign that was lit up, that wasn't lit up during the day. And when we came back, it looked like a movie set. So the entire crew comes back to this thing, and we just all stood there for a second and looked at this gorgeous motel that we were staying at that we had no idea about until we returned at night. And it was really, really cool. I mean, like some of us barbecued, some of us left, and some of us ended up staying there that night. But that was a really good memory. Ever since then, I'm like, I want to do another short about that
back.
hotel. Well, we did. We were like, fuck. Like we had just done this awesome like Western style thing. It was for this
It's
Phillips
on- it's
competition.
online.
It
You
is.
can
You
see
can,
it.
you
What's
can look
it
it up. It's called
Wolf?
Dust.
Dust.
It was for the Phillips like short film
Oh,
competition.
Wolf shot it.
Wolf shot it. Yeah.
Motherfucker's name's Wolf.
If you search Dust short film, I think you can find it. It's either on Vimeo. It's probably on Anthony's page on Vimeo. And it was cool. It was a really, really fun shoot. It was grueling and really, really warm. But yeah, we got back and Anthony and I both looked and we're like, fuck, we should have made it about this. Like, this is really cool. It's just about this amazing motel in the middle of nowhere where travelers come in and go. It was interesting.
I like that one.
Yeah.
We should go stay there.
It was fun. Not bad. I mean, horrible accommodations, but the actual vibe of the town was nice. It was very small.